We're about 2 months away from Inauguration Day, and speculation is brewing about who President-elect Joe Biden may select for key roles in his cabinet. Mr. Biden is weighing his options for several positions, including, of course, Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, and Attorney General. Longtime advisors to the president-elect, as well as some of his former rivals, are reportedly being considered for top jobs in the administration. For more on this, I'm joined by CBS News campaign reporter Bo Erickson. Bo, you mentioned that in your reporting, diversity will be an important factor in President-elect Biden's decision-making. What is the president-elect looking for among his cabinet officials?
Yeah, so we are told that this may be the most diverse cabinet in history yet. He is looking for diversity not just in race, but also in gender as well, and also experience and ideology. One element that is probably going to be rewarded in the cabinet picks is loyalty, for sure. Throughout Joe Biden's 40-some years of public service, he's brought a lot of people with him, and there's a lot of people still working with him. And so we may see some of his closest allies get some positions. And then another aspect as well is that through his long career of public service, he really values that in others as well. So if they have a long record of public service, that is definitely a plus, we're told.
Well, what are some of the other factors driving Mr. Biden's cabinet picks, Bo?
So one of them that I think is really interesting, and when we think about what's happening, especially in Georgia right now, is there is real concern about taking any Democrats off Capitol Hill and putting them into the cabinet. Those numbers are so tight right now in the Senate. So if they take any Senate Democrat, they're worried that there maybe will not be a Democrat replacement in their position. But then I was also told that, that majority of the Democrats in the House was also dwindled in this last election. So they are definitely thinking and looking offside Capitol Hill, even though a lot of their options, a lot of good options on Capitol Hill for sure.
Well, you mentioned Georgia, Bo. I have to ask, Stacey Abrams?
That is one name that we've heard. We have not heard anything specifically for her yet, so I don't know if I could put her specifically somewhere, but maybe we'll see what happens with this Georgia Senate election.
All right. Well, you also are reporting on a frontrunner for the Secretary of State, and we've also heard about somebody else who says he wants the position. What more can you tell us?
So this is Tony Blinken, and this is in the category of a long-time Biden aide. He actually, at the end of the Obama administration, was the Deputy Secretary of State. But 15 years before, he started working for Joe Biden at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee as the Democrat staff director. And so they really built up this trust, and I'm told that they really view the world in a similar way. Tony Blinken went from the Senate, followed Joe Biden to the White House during his vice presidential years too, and in this campaign has been a very high-profile advocate for Joe Biden. He's fielded a lot of the foreign policy questions, and right now during the transition, because there has not been a winner ascertained by the General Services Administration, which we've heard a lot about, this is making it that the State Department is not facilitating calls with foreign leaders, so that has fallen on Tony Blinken's shoulders. I was told that he is the master scheduler of all of these calls coming in. So his team is being reached out to, sometimes by email, sometimes by phone, and arranging these calls for Joe Biden. So he's already kind of acting as a global liaison. And then in this second role in foreign policy that we also reported on, the number 2 on the transition right now, her name's Avril Haines. She also worked at the CIA and the State Department during the Obama administration. She is very close to Tony Blinken. We were told by several sources that she is up for the job as National Security Advisor. She is one of the only advisors briefing Joe Biden in person when Joe Biden was just down the street a couple days ago going to his national security briefing. Avril actually rode with Joe Biden in the motorcade. So that stood out to me specifically because this whole transition is happening virtually, but their interactions are happening in person.
All right, Bo, I'm going to throw a couple other names at you, some that our viewers are going to be familiar with. What about Senator Bernie Sanders and former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg?
So yes, these are the rivals that we are chasing and trying to see if this talk is just talk or if it's actually real. And this is what we found out. So first was Senator Bernie Sanders. This is a name that progressives obviously want in the cabinet. That is, kind of the prized horse to put him in there. If you get in there, that would give some ideological diversity to Joe Biden's cabinet. We were told by sources that this talk is real of Bernie Sanders for labor secretary. I was specifically told that labor is one of those areas that Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders actually had overlap when they were thinking about issues. They have that strong rhetoric, pro-union rhetoric to be specific. And I was told that Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders have spoken recently since the election. We don't know what they were talking about, but maybe they were talking about the cabinet. And the second name you mentioned was Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, who really gave Joe Biden a running for this primary, in the primary at the beginning of the year. We were told that the transition team first envisioned Pete Buttigieg in the role as VA secretary at Veterans Affairs because he is a veteran. But since we were told that Pete Buttigieg and his team have made clear that his preference is actually for UN ambassador or another cabinet post. So I think there is definitely a lot of people in the Joe Biden orbit who would put some money that Pete Buttigieg may actually get a spot at the end of the day.
A lot of jockeying for positions. All right, Bo Erickson, thank you.